Everyone talks about the physical side of ACL and knee recovery, but nobody talks about having the right mindset. Here's a psychological cheat code that got my client Nick from crutches to dunking in 7 months after surgery. And it's the PR mindset, the personal record mindset. There's an absolute need to get stronger in ACL recovery. It's not just an injury that just gets better with time or fancy hands-on treatments. And it's certainly not something that magically happens by doing the same basic exercises week after week. Getting strong is hard work. If you've ever been to the gym before, trying to build muscle and strength, you should know that it's not an easy process. It's a slow process and requires high levels of effort on the right plan. Now, layer a major injury and surgery on top of that, and you can see why so many people fail to regain their strength and muscle with basic physical therapy plans. So what's the secret recipe? It's a blend of consistency, high levels of effort, and a strategic plan guided by someone who understands ACL injury physiology and what needs to be focused on while respecting tissue healing. But all three mean nothing in isolation. Consistency is important, but it's not everything. And hey, not poking fun here at all, no judgment, but to illustrate the point, I'm sure you've seen the person who goes to the gym 5 days a week, but they look the same and perform the same year after year. Consistency is a piece of the puzzle, right? High levels of effort are needed, but nobody's getting stronger or building muscle from going hard a few times per month. You could also train super hard on a plan that's not properly designed for you, but the results will leave you frustrated. And lastly, you could have the best rehab plan in the world, right? But it's useless if it's not executed with intensity and consistency. You need all three. Now, let's break this down into what a personal record or PR really is. Simply put, a PR is the best performance that you've done on a given exercise to date. So for example, let's say your previous best performance for back squats, right, was 225 pounds for 5 reps. And today, you did 6 reps with 225. You now have a PR. Awesome. The same applies to other forms of exercise. So for example, let's say your fastest mile run to date was 8 minutes, and today you ran a mile in 7 minutes and 55 seconds. Congratulations, you just set a new personal record. Now, when it comes to building strength and muscle, it is important that we are focusing on the correct training variables, and it all boils down to progressive overload. So in a nutshell, progressive overload refers to gradually increasing the training stress on your muscles, your joints, and your nervous system over time. Pair this with proper recovery, and this is how we get stronger. If we're looking to build muscle and strength, we should be aiming to set PRs in 2 main ways. The first is going to be performing additional repetitions with the same weight on a given exercise. So with this example earlier, my previous PR for squats was 225 pounds for 5 reps, and today I got 6. The second way is to ensure progressive overload is actually occurring, is performing more weight for the same number of reps on a given exercise. So using the 225 squat for 5 reps example, let's say today I did 230 pounds for 5 reps. Boom, new PR achieved. Or we could have a combination of both, more reps and more weight. Now we're talking. Setting PRs like this will ensure that your exercise plan is actually working and that you're getting the most out of your efforts. Key point here though, all of this assumes that your training is actually challenging, because if your sets aren't tough at the end, your body has 0 reason to grow. And we want to build maximum strength as efficiently as possible. The weights need to be heavy enough for us to be able to be challenged with low repetition sets. So the goal should be to eventually work up to heavy sets for 3 to 6 or so reps. This is the mentality that you need that will make this recovery journey as safe, as effective, and efficient as possible. I always educate my clients on this. It's absolutely critical. Your default mentality is to enter every workout session with the goal of being better than last time. And again, that could simply mean just adding an extra rep or 2 here or there, adding 5 pounds, progressing an exercise, or a combination of these 3 things. But we need to keep moving the needle forward, regardless of how small each step seems. Because if you lay 1 brick every day, eventually you're gonna have a mansion and a pretty darn strong knee. But with all that being said, above all, you are recovering from a major surgery or injury. This is different than just general fitness. You need to respect what your knee is telling you. If something isn't agreeing with your knee, you need to have a plan to modify it. That can be reducing the motion, lowering the weight, changing joint angles, having alternative exercises, or even just holding off on that particular exercise for the day. Regardless, a qualified ACL and knee specialist will help you decode this knee language and create the best possible course of action for you. If you found this useful, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. If you feel like your strength is stalling, maybe you're hitting a plateau, or maybe you just feel like basic physical therapy isn't enough to get you back to your active lifestyle. Click that link below to schedule a free call with me so I can learn more about your situation and see if it would make sense for us to even work together. See you on the next video.